part of the reason why I enjoy it now more than I did maybe like 5 years ago is like, and actually one of the producers of Sama Natael music said this, is that they're not dressed like fucking
I agree.
20 dudes in like cowboy hats.
I
Like,
actually was thinking the exact same thing.
like they
a
look
few
cool
weeks
as
ago.
fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Like they got face tattoos. They're wearing like
Dude,
modern
it's because
shit.
they're embracing the gangster rap appeal of it. They are embracing that side of it, and they're just like, yo, we are basically gangster rappers. Like, let's just fucking like lean into that side of it. Like, we like
That is
Gucci,
true.
we like Cartier. We're gonna rap about like getting our ladies fake tits, fake asses, and like Gucci, Cartier bags and like shit.
But
like
we're gonna
that.
do it with trumpet in the background.
Yeah, exactly. With a trumpet, a fucking trombone, a tuba, and an accordion, motherfuckers.
All right, folks, welcome back to another exciting episode of VYV. You know, we are brought to you by today's sponsor, Mental Health Awareness. Don't be afraid to talk about it, because like you, we are also struggling inside.
I think that's just you.
No, that's... I got nothing.
No, we're keeping that.
I got nothing for today, folks. I'm all out. It's been tough for your old pal. It's been hard times.
What's going on this week, bud? Where are you having a tough week?
We're once again without Leo. It's breaking my heart. I keep telling him we're giving him 5% of IPO. He says it's not good enough. I don't know what to do now.
That's a generous offer.
I know. At this point, I'm thinking of contacting his cousins to see if they want to do it on the low. Like a day laborer?
A scalper.
A scalper of some sort?
Or a scab. That's what those fuckers are called.
Yeah, scalpers are what they did in the
That's what they do in the
Mexican-American
entertainment
war.
industry.
Bunch of scalps. You know, they would pay money for like Indian scalps and Mexican scalps.
Yeah.
It's pretty nasty.
Yeah. I remember reading about that shit during...
You know, I just got
who
done
cares?
with the Blood Meridian, funny enough. Have you heard about that, Luis? The book, The Blood Meridian?
Are you
It's
talking about the
No
Lord of the
idea what
Rings
it is.
bullshit?
the what?
The Lord of the Rings shit?
No. The Blood Meridian is a book by Corey McCarthy. He wrote The Road. He wrote
The Wish,
The Wish.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
That's C.S. Lewis, but not the same people. No. Corey McCarthy is he's regarded as like one of the famous poets. People regard Blood Meridian as like one of the must-read books and all that stuff. And I just got done through with it, and yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I have a new sense of like righteousness in me, because a lot of the rhetoric is like from Bibles and all that stuff. And like,
Okay. Well, that translates perfectly into something I wanted to ask you.
I'm a God-fearing
specifically
man. Yes.
On the podcast, Phill. Keep that righteousness, like channel that and keep that in mind with this next question.
Yes.
How do you feel about the last few weeks and how like some of your biggest heroes in life, specifically Tucker and Mr. Trump himself, have like had either legal troubles or they've had like some job troubles? How does that make you feel, Phill?
Well, I have no feelings at all because I don't view them as my heroes, nor do I digest any of their media one bit. I mean, honestly,
we need you to be a representative here of like some of these people and the people they represent.
look
or
at my
else-
shirt.
Or else, what do you bring here?
Do you think this is a Fox News shirt?
Yes,
This is a CNN
that is
shirt.
100% like what every Fox News viewer who goes on a cruise brings. Like they bring like 3 of those.
No way, bro. This is what they bring. This is what that energy. That person that stole luggage on the airports like 3 different times. They're the
Exactly.
Ministry of Energy or some shit.
You're making a Tucker reference,
what?
which I love.
No, I'm making a
you
good
are.
reference.
You're making a Tucker reference.
No.
He's like famously the biggest guy who highlighted that story.
I mean, all the media did, even
no, but
CNN.
Tucker's the biggest guy.
Your Majority Report is a big guy of this. See, that's the one thing I like about you. Since you got back from Juan-ajuato, you're more.
Hey, can we just give him a round of applause for not saying Guadalajara?
For saying it correctly.
For not saying Guadalajara this time.
Mhm.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. Insert round of applause here.
Thank you. See, that's a great thing about reading about the Blood Meridian, because the timeline of that book, it's set in the Mexican, like the 1800s, Revolutionary War, the Wild Wild West, right?
So when you're saying this title, it's called The Blood Meridian?
Yeah.
Is what you're saying? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Like the, the way the sun sets over the horizon.
Perfect.
It's a term that they.
And what's
Had
like
one
the main stories in this book?
It's
main
really just a tale
themes?
about like war and like heartbreak and like generational trauma and
What the
Fate.
best literature is about.
exactly yeah.
Fuck.
And-
Hey, real quick,
What's
are you dependent on the Zoom video?
No.
Okay, because it's been frozen.
Oh no.
Yeah, and
Okay.
if it stays frozen, that's fine, because it's only affecting me. But I just wanted to give you a heads up.
Thank you.
That's really
I can still hear you.
See, this is why we need Leo back so quick, so quick.
And you wanted to fire him.
He's still fired at this point. He's in a sabbatical.
All right, let's not get sidetracked. Let's bring it back.
Let's bring it all the way back. You've become much of a prick when you got back. You're over here,
Dude, that's actually hilarious. I've been thinking the same thing about you.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I mean, first off, you didn't hook me up with your family friend. Second off, you come over here talking about the fallen Tucker Carlson. You know I don't like Tucker, but I love Twitter, and he's uploading all of his episodes on Twitter now.
First of all, you clearly love Tucker. You love Tucker
No.
adjacent topics. Like just because
What? The M&Ms have gotten too sexy. Am I the only one that's going to talk about that?
Exactly. Luis, can you step in here, big brother?
Yeah, as Tucker Carlson's #1 fan, I personally did take it a little bit hard when I found out that he was leaving the Righteous Network. And ultimately, I think all we can do is, bow our heads and say a prayer, because that's what he would want us to do.
Amen, brother. That or go fishing. Did you see the video of him being accosted by like some dude while he's fishing in?
Oh, I know. He
Central
handled
Park?
that like a boss,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
He made himself look so likable.
Mm-hmm. He's like, why are you filming me? Why? Why is that?
Dude, for like 30 seconds, I forgot he was a Swanson family heir. For like all of like 30 seconds.
Hey, that's good on you. That's good on you. But yeah, no. There's a lot of there's no good easy way to segue into your trip and whatnot, but we'll just do it naturally. This whole episode's off the railings, folks. I'm about 2 mezcals deep already. We got
He's
a new
lying.
setup we're working in.
Why are you lying?
Lying.
You haven't even drank the first one.
Folks, I gotta be honest here. I am 85 days sober. Juan,
Why are you lying about that?
I'm being truthful now.
Do you have so little respect for your audience?
All right, Mr. Cowboy, Mr. Caballero, take it away. Go on. Lead. Do something. Be
Fair.
funny for once. Let's go.
All
Lead,
fair.
cabron.
Fair. Luis and I are going to take care of this for the rest of the episode since our
I'm clocking out.
Wild
already.
West cowboy over here can't handle anything.
Nope.
Luis.
Yes, sir.
How do we feel about this last trip that I took? Is there any questions that you had for me?
Oh, dude,
as
so
far
many
as,
questions.
The trip goes.
So this was supposed to be kind of more themed to last week when it was Cinco de Mayo. So this episode will actually be a Quince de Mayo themed.
Fuck yeah.
Like a quinceañera.
Like a quinceañera.
Exactly. So instead of it being like a traditional, here, let me fix this shit. Just trying to figure out a comfortable way to wear this headset. I think I'm just gonna have to cough up and spend money on a mic. I don't know.
We're frozen.
So yeah, this was supposed to be more last week, but then we ended up getting sidetracked and spent 45 minutes talking about Bad Bunny and the
And
WWE.
Dude, Bad Bunny is what's up, dude.
We had somebody comment. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but somebody commented on the last podcast on YouTube saying like, you guys are delusional. Bad Bunny's like 6 foot and like 200 pounds.
I fucking told you fucking losers. You guys,
And
like,
I was
you guys,
we had no Leo to fact check us.
you see
Exactly.
a Hispanic guy, bro, and you just automatically assume he's short, bro.
like he's 5'7". He's a
Well,
short
I mean,
king.
compared to the other guy, he's like fucking 6'8".
He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess, but like he's still 6 foot.
Anybody's 5'5" compared to that guy.
That's still like a sturdy 6 foot motherfucker.
And besides, it's
Yeah.
mental health awareness. Can we not try to body shame Benito? I mean, as soon as I saw that,
Yeah, we
message,
should
I
be
was like,
body
what the
shaming
fuck,
you
dude?
instead.
I was like, what the fuck? Benito doesn't need that. I don't need that neither.
I don't know where you were going with that.
Oh, I was waiting for you guys to talk about Bad Bunny from last week.
We don't need to talk about
Again,
that anymore.
motherfucker?
Shut the fuck up.
Well, you guys brought
Yeah,
up Bad
We
Bunny.
don't need to
Shut
talk
the
about that
fuck
anymore.
You were
up.
like,
Oh, you know
You
what?
interrupted Luis. Go on with what you were saying.
Real quick, another thing. You know how Phil was complimenting Rhea Ripley?
Yeah.
He's like, oh my gosh,
His
she's
favorite
built
porn
like
star.
a goddess. She's got beautiful arms. She's
Wait,
gorgeous.
now,
She's
hold
a
on.
princess. And then shut the fuck up. And then Adriana was like, oh, is this the girl that Phil was talking about? And she showed me a TikTok of her, and I was like, listen, man, that if she is very clearly your type.
What a big goth.
I don't know what that says.
Yeah, she just has like her WWE look is very like tough and like goth and dark makeup, and she's like the bad guy. And I was like, of course Phil is into like the villain of the WWE who's like
Of course.
wearing like deep dark eyeshadow and eyeliner. And I'm like, but I do like her because she's with Dominic Mysterio, which I think is fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw a video of him being an asshole on a Mexican podcast, which made me laugh. Because there's a famous picture of Rhea like whispering into his ear, and like they use it for a lot of promos.
Mhm.
And the podcast or radio host was like, "Oh, what is she saying to you like in this picture?" And he goes, Dominic goes, "Oh, you know what she's telling me?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "All right, I've actually never told anyone this, but I like you, so I'm going to tell you. She's actually telling me, who the fuck cares?" The radio host is like, "Oh man, like shit,
Yeah.
dude. Next question." Like, moving on
Thumbs up
from
to
a
Dominic.
Mexican wrestler to a Mexican trip. Juan Legend was in our native state of Guanajuato.
GTO,
The first question
GTO.
I wanted to ask you was, did you feel unsafe at all? I'm going to really do my best job at being an interviewer here and put on my Sean Evans hat.
You know
In
what?
order
No, I did not. At no point did I feel unsafe. I spent a majority of my trip in the city of GTO, and in like the place that my parents have a home with like a lot of brothers and sisters around. So like I spent it in a relatively quiet rural area, and then I spent it in a really safe urban area. So like the mix of that made for like a really safe feeling trip. And yeah, and like I even spent time like participating in some of the nightlife of like the towns and shit. So like there was opportunities for me to feel like that, and no, at any point did I feel unsafe or anything like that. And that's really interesting because like I noticed that like the State Department had like warnings about traveling to the state of GTO. So that's I just thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, my grandparents are actually here from the state of GTO. And when I went to go visit them and saw them, I think it was now 2 weeks ago when I spoke to them last, they had mentioned that there isn't necessarily a policing policy, but what happens is that there is almost like a self-governed group that if somebody mugs you or steals from your store, causes you trouble, you actually go report that to one of the informants, and then they take matters into their own hands. Did you see in person any of these cases, or did you also hear about this?
Does it work? That doesn't sound like it's gonna like lead to anything successful.
I mean, that is the way that a lot of small towns run themselves. Like it'll be like narco governance, like
wow.
where like the police are seen as like kind of weak in the area, so like people just kind of don't even go to them that much. Versus like if they steal from like a wealthy person in one of those neighborhoods, then like Luis said, one of those informants will get told about it, and it's in the best interest of the narcos in the area to not have like federales or like any federal authorities like smelling around for like this rich guy's like property or like theft or anything like that. So they go take care of it because they don't want like I said, the feds coming around.
That sounds more peaceful than what we got here, honestly.
Is that what you think?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we back our boys in blue here. God damn it. I got friends who are police officers, genuinely.
Yeah, so
And I respect every single one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Respect them and the wives that they beat.
Yeah, Phil, this is very incongruent with like the rest of
Yeah,
the
this is really
ideology.
off color from you. This
Yeah.
is really out of
I thought
character.
you were a back the blue kind of guy, but now you're saying like,
Yeah.
fuck that, we should just go around them.
Bro, look at my shirt. I'm clearly Antifa, brother.
You are so Florida today. You are the most Florida-looking person I've
You're
ever
the
seen
most
in my
proud
goddamn
boy,
life.
Florida-looking person I've ever seen.
No.
You're darn right.
Dude,
That
you
actually,
look like that Torres guy. Like 15 years later, if he really let himself go,
What, the bull?
the leader of the Proud Boys guy, that Cuban motherfucker.
You talking about that like animated bull that John Cena played? The
No.
Taurus guy, the
Yeah, Torres guy. Yeah,
Ferdinand, whatever his name is.
I think that's
The
his
bull?
name. He's like bald. He's a bald guy. He's Cuban.
He's
He's
got a
from
little
Florida.
spectrum ring right there because he's,
You know who I'm talking about, right, Luis?
I have actually no idea.
The
I'm
leader of
looking
the
it up
Proud
as we
Boys?
speak. No.
He's some guy named Torres or something.
We're drawing blanks here, brother. Looks like you know more about the Proud Boys than I do. You know what? And I've heard a lot of things about GTO. A lot of the Proud Boys visit there.
Is that right? Tell me more.
I heard that the reason why a lot of Proud Boys go there is because there's a very spooky element to Juan-ajuato. Deep in the mines, deep in the mountains. How many mountains are out there? It's very mountainy, right? Very Sierra type.
Yeah, it's right in the middle of the Sierra Madre mountain range. So, or right at the end of it. I'm sorry.
And it's-
Actually, I found the leader of the Proud Boys. His name is Enrique Tario.
That's the motherfucker I was talking about. I thought it was Torres, but it's Tario.
that sounds
You
like
look
some
like
guy
that guy.
from GTO.
You
He
look
looks
like
really
if
cool.
that guy let himself go, and like his hairline came back.
He looks like. Have you seen that documentary, The Cocaine Cowboys?
On Netflix, it's been years, but yeah. What am I?
Yeah,
the
he's,
pilot? The
Yeah, one
crazy
like
pilot?
the guys who got so rich they they fucking made a boat race team. They were all like short. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It was like complete silence. So I'm like, and I can't see your guys' screen.
Oh,
So I'm like,
Nah, you were just bombing.
yeah,
oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just
So, yeah.
fucking around. All right, go on.
Yeah, they were just like, dude, those guys were the shit, man. The Cocaine Cowboys.
I've heard really good things about that.
The documentary is really interesting because they're the Kings of Miami. They just made so much money off of fucking
cocaine.
like cocaine, and they needed a way to launder it and also spend it, that they just made a boat race team, and they were like on the most wanted list for the FBI and for like the Miami police force, and they had no idea what they were doing. They couldn't track these guys, and they were showing up on ESPN.
Dude, good for them.
Like, oh, and they take the win again.
Dude,
But,
good for them. Hiding in plain sight like that.
Well, do you know who?
Being
Dude,
famous as fuck.
Amazing.
Do you know who let it happen underneath their watch as a governor?
Hillary Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
You know,
They-
instead
Nah, it
of
was really Hillary.
It was
though.
Bill Clinton. It was those kids that
Hillary was in charge.
they
though.
found two kids that supposedly fell asleep after smoking too much of marijuana,
Yeah.
and then they stabbed themselves and they tied themselves up to the
When
train
they
tracks.
sucked their brain juice.
Oh yeah.
Adrenochrome, baby.
And then the family hired an autopsy to be like, wait a minute, they weren't run over by
And they
a
noticed their
train.
brain juice was missing.
They were murdered. So
Instead of cocaine cowboy, you're more of a cannoli cowboy. I think that's the biggest difference between you and these guys.
hey man, you keep talking like that way, I'll give you my cannoli, brother.
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
I bet.
But
I bet you
anyways,
would. Anyways, moving on to
Moving
my
on.
next
Instead of
question
Instead of cannolis,
about
it's churros, motherfuckers. Come on, churros. Stay with the topic, guys.
yeah. Oh, you know what? Cannoli, a famous Italian dessert. You know what else is Italian?
I don't want to hear about
Not
Italian.
chartreuse.
Not chartreuse.
Not chartreuse.
Yeah, we're not
This
even
is
drinking
actually-
chartreuse.
Is it a GTO?
You're not drinking chartreuse?
No, we
you
were
had me
going
look
to,
up all
but
this information
We
on
were going to,
chartreuse
but
today.
we're not drinking it yet. If I may,
Do you see this guy? Do you see what we got to work with here?
I can't see your
if I may,
camera
Luis,
angle at all.
can I have you look up something called cupreata agave, and then me and
Yeah,
Phil.
I'm sure that's
Phil
a
are-
very easy thing to write out.
Yeah.
Cooper Andre Mamatre.
Nah,
Yeah,
if-
can you bring up
see-
some Latin? Is there a
see-
Latin keyboard on there?
to people who don't know their vowels, that
Mm-hmm.
seems hard. But like to people like Luis that
Can
they know
you
their vowels.
can you repeat it one more time?
Okay, so it's gonna be cupre
Cupre a
ta ta.
da agave. Cupreata agave.
This is-
and then,
this is great
and then find
broadcasting.
tasty notes.
Can you
Okay.
say pronounce this with
Motherfucker.
me?
Can you help me break down the tasty notes of this?
Of the mezcal?
Yes.
Oh, I'll tell you one thing. From the mezcal is famous from the what Jalisco area, right?
No, it's Oaxaca, Guanajuato, and then like a few other states.
Now we'll classify the mezcal. Is it the sweetness of the agave from the cacti? Or?
Great question, Phil. What classifies it as mezcal is that it is made from agave, and it is an agave distillate
Mhm.
made within like a protected region and with protected ancient methods.
Wow, this is like Mexican moonshine.
No, moonshine is way less protected. Like,
Oh,
it's much more akin to like bourbon.
okay,
Because
okay.
bourbon
okay.
is like has rules. You can only make it a certain way.
True,
You can
true.
only use certain ingredients.
And they're both long in tradition history as well.
yeah, with mezcal even a little bit longer.
Wow. Okay, so this is the Mexican bourbon. Pretty cool when you like break it down
Yeah,
to American.
yeah, exactly. When
It
you
makes
break it
it-
down into American,
It makes
yeah.
everything so much easier. Am I right, folks? Or am I right?
I actually had a bartender buddy that I gave a sample of this that said that it smelled like a really good bourbon. But to me, it's like a little funky for that.
Yeah, mezcal is normally going to have that smoky taste, that the earthy taste. The last time we had a mezcal drink, I looked this up not too long ago. It was when we had the graphic designer of Brotastus, Yellow Designs,
True. We
Mhm.
were drinking mezcal Negronis.
Yep.
Yeah.
and same on to that same similar like note taste from before. It's still that smokiness to it, but there's a little bit of sweetness to this one.
There's a lot of sweetness, right?
It lingers after the smoky, earthy, wormy taste. A little bit of the mud in there. You know what I mean? But then once you let it nibble on it in your mouth, munch on that a little bit, then it becomes very sweet, like a sugar cane.
What do you smell in this, bud?
Oh my god, I smell liquor. No, it's kind of like a new shoe, if that makes sense.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Almost like new rubber sort of smell.
Yeah. It's the end of the dishwashing day. You're taking out the garbage.
Oh, god damn it. You're making this sound so unappetizing.
And you come back to the dishwasher, your boots are all wet, and you're like,
Nah,
that's the smell. That's a clean smell right there.
to me, and what is like typical of this specific style of agave, because this is a what's called cupreata agave. It has very prominent like lactic acid sort of notes, or like funky cheese, sour cream.
That might
like
just be your
Greek
fingers, my man.
yogurt, like sort of like notes.
Oh, the Greek yogurt, yeah.
Yeah, and like the longer you leave it out, the more prominent it gets. Like the more the oxygen like turns it into a more Greek yogurty sort of like smelling smell.
You could really taste the antibiotics in it, the bacteria that molds into it, much like yogurt and cottage cheese.
Agreed.
Yes. And that's kind of how I like my women, like my mezcal,
But yeah, this is
full of cottage cheese cellulite.
a like unlabeled sort of bottle from a little mixology bar that we went to. I believe the brand is called Mas, M-A-S. It's just I would probably say this is the best mezcal I've ever tasted because it's
Goddamn.
it's like so easy to sip. Would you say that was a hard sip?
No, not at all.
Yeah, like I would say as far as like a sipping mezcal, this is probably the easiest one I've ever tasted because it was so layered and like keeps you coming back for more and more and more.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very interesting tasting mezcal. How about yourself, Luis? Did you find anything interesting as far as this particular agave type goes?
So the notes that I did find, and they're all from different reviewers, they all seem to follow a similar pattern, which is a lot of pine in the palate, but then they're also all stating citrus, specifically grapefruit. So that kind of excites me to try this very soon. You guys are saying it's the best mezcal, specifically you, Juan, that you've ever tasted. And so something like this, you're thinking about having iced on a hot summer day and, maybe having it with grapefruit juice or just over some ice and club soda, I think would be phenomenal.
Of a mezcal paloma. One of the
Yeah,
best
that just sounds
underrated
really,
summer
really
drinks.
fun. Yeah, and then there's, you know, everybody seems to like it. People are saying it's a very big flavor. The other note that people seem to be reviewing is pepper. Is that
I can see
I know
that.
you guys
Like a
you
white
got
pepper,
you guys
black pepper sort of thing.
yeah, you guys didn't mention that yet, but is that something that you guys are getting
Yeah.
besides the smokiness?
Oh yeah. I feel like with like white pepper, black pepper, lemon sort of notes are like a very
Mhm.
safe bet to describe with almost any distillate, just because like
Mm.
ethanol tastes so much like that. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
almost
totally.
any time you make a distillate, like whether that be moonshine or brandy or mezcal, it's gonna have
Yeah.
at least subtle like black pepper, lemon sort of thing, just because that's kind of what ethanol tastes like.
You know what's funny is I just had 10 lemon pepper wings from Wingstop, so I think I can definitely relate to that.
See, that's the universe agreeing with you.
Exactly. What are the odds that today's the first time I had Wingstop, and here we are talking about lemon and pepper and liquor specifically.
It's not a coincidence, Luis. I can tell you
It's
that.
not a coincidence. The
It's not a
universe
coincidence.
is coming in on itself. Yeah, no, I'd love to get back into some questions I have for your Mexico trip. Having this being the second time that you're visiting within the span of about 14 months, did you feel a lot more comfortable with, not necessarily your Spanish, but your vocabulary, with talking to the locals, with getting around?
Drink the water first. 100%, Luis. This time when we showed up to the city at GTO, like we felt like we know where we want to go. We know like we've seen the big sites the first time around. We know what part of like the culture we want to participate in the city, which is gonna be like a little bit of art during the day, but a lot of nighttime and like dinner time, sort of like whether that be restaurants or bars or shit like that. Like we wanted to see like some of the best offerings that the city has. Being like we fucking have a foodie type podcast, like we live and breathe that shit. So we were there, we were participating in that. We had a great time. I have Phill over here to my left is trying one of the mezcal products that we brought over from our trip. On one of the days, we took a tour ride to the tomb of a probably Mexico's most famous composer or song author, what's his name again?
Lupe
Luis
Rivera.
What the fuck?
Luis Miguel.
Uh,
Ahora se puede ser marchar.
Did you drop it in our chat?
Luis Alfredo
Okay.
Jimenez. Can you double check that for me, bud? It's just super embarrassing, but that motherfucker is from like 20 minutes away from where I'm from. And like that dude is like the OG Vicente Fernandez. He wrote like half of Vicente Fernandez's songs that he sings out there, like El Rey and shit like that.
That me there.
Yes, he was born in
Dolores Hidalgo.
Hidalgo de Guanajuato, and he was discovered in 1948 by singer Miguel Aceves Mejia. And according to Mejia, Jimenez did not play an instrument. Jimenez did not even know the Spanish word for waltz or what keys his songs were in. So they became friends, and the rest is history.
But we did get his name right, Jose Alfredo.
Yes, you did, because I was
Okay.
able to Google
Cool.
him pretty
Dope.
much spot on. Jose Alfredo Jimenez.
That's the
Perfect.
one thing I do appreciate about Mexican music. That you don't really need to be like talented to like go very far in Mexican music. There's that famous.
Listen to this. Listen to this, dude.
What
Hold on.
kind of idiot,
Listen to this
comment,
guy, man.
stupid, benign, dim-witted? I mean, where do I even start?
Well, first off, you said this guy couldn't play an instrument, right? And then there's the case of the famous Mexican singer guy. What's his name? Violanto Sanchez. He's famous because right before he performed his last song, he got a note from the cartel from Sinaloa, like, "Yo,
What was his name?
Frankie Sanchez something. I know it was Sanchez. I forgot his first name. I'm a producer. I'm already 1 week ahead. We got TMI in the house.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
I think that just highlights how little
I'm
about what you're talking.
I'm literally producing 1 week ahead. And I'm like, bam. But
Can you shut the fuck up and talk about what you're trying to talk about?
he couldn't sing. He couldn't sing a note neither, and like he
so
became super famous.
It's almost like a Bob Dylan sort of thing.
Bob Dylan could sing. He spoke like this. That's singing.
He's
Bob
like super
Dylan.
famous for having like a super screechy voice.
Yeah, man, I'm Bob Dylan, man. Yeah,
All right.
like a Rolling Stone.
Okay. Anyways.
Shut the fuck up.
You know who I'm
We
talking
knew
about.
talking
this was
about
gonna happen.
the-
We knew this was gonna happen.
You know who I'm talking about.
We're talking about the Mexican Rolling Stone here.
We knew this was gonna happen, Luis.
his last
we not?
song. You can look him up on YouTube. He's a good guy.
He's talking about Chalino Sanchez,
Thank you.
and he's
Chalino
like
Sanchez.
famous for like the like gangster rap version of music that Mexico has produced.
As they pronounce it in their heritage, narco noquitos.
Yes, what he said, narco norquitos,
Narco noquitos.
narco taquitos.
Yes.
But anyways, Luis, what was even the topic you were bringing up?
My initial question,
Yes.
it was about you did answer it for the most part. I was talking about getting around the city and feeling comfortable since this is the second time you're visiting.
Dude, I was super comfortable.
Super comfortable.
Yeah, GTO, you can be out until like 4 a.m. and feel comfortable. You just might see some like spirits, like because it's like a ancient city that's been around since like the 1500s. So I'm not gonna say that like you might not get like fucked with. And the narrow walkways are probably like in some like spots they probably shrink down to like 6 feet across. So it can feel like a little narrow when you're walking through the alleyways because it's an ancient city where like they didn't plan on having cars, so they just made it like super walkable. But yeah, I felt super safe. Like I said before, the city only has like 3 entrances, so there's like very little way for narcos to plant their way in there. Knock on wood, or because there's not a whole lot of ways for them to have their trucks or like for them to like set up like a blockade or anything like that. Just because there's very few entrances into the city, and like you're having to go through like a national security like fucking checkpoint when you're like going into the city, basically.
Since you
I
mentioned
do kind of.
Oh,
Oh,
I was gonna ask him about the narrow stairways. There's a legend there that it's a story. It's just the like you say, the pathways, the alleys are so narrow, and like there's a lot of stairs and all this bullshit, right?
Yeah,
There's a forbidden love, like their version of a Romeo and Juliet
there is.
from like thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago.
Carlos y Ana.
Carlos y
Ana.
Ana, or something like that. One of those Mexican sounding names. Am I right? Am I right, folks? But yeah, no. So it was like a Romeo and Juliet, or a Capulet and Ana, and it was a forbidden love. They both took each other's life, and now it's like good luck to kiss on the 3rd step. If you don't kiss on the 3rd step on this famous like pathways or whatever,
I don't remember that they did take each other's life.
something like that.
Romeo and Juliet did. I don't know about the Carlos
Yeah.
y Ana.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know that Carlos y Ana did. But what my friend Phill over here is describing is like one of Guanajuato's most famous legends. Guanajuato is a city of many legends, I would say, like a few dozen.
And very spooky.
It has a lot of different legends about a lot of different subjects, whether that be history, the revolution, like paranormal shit. Or like a romantic one, like the one Philip is talking about right now, where there was a history of a Creole woman named Ana, which is a woman who comes from Spanish descent, but that was born in Mexico. So like they were seen as like lower on the caste system
I thought that was
of
a
white
cooking
supremacy. No,
Crayon.
they were seen as like lower on the caste system of white supremacy. Like they still had to like say if they were from the motherland, they were still seen as superior, but they were right below them. And that's what she was, and like she was like told to never like talk to the minors or talk to like the underclass, right?
Mhm.
And right in front of her, because of what he was talking about, the narrow alleyways, and sometimes the buildings can be so close to each other that like when they are on each other's balcony or on their own balcony, they can like reach over and touch the person in another balcony. So they can be like I don't know, I would say like 2 feet away, you know, like where you can reach over and touch each other.
Oh yeah.
And that happens to be one of these alleyways, which is famously dubbed the Kiss alleyway or El Callejón del Beso. It sounds a lot prettier in Spanish. I don't know how
everything in Spanish sounds a lot
I don't know how
prettier.
that doesn't sound pretty at all in English. Like the kissing alleyway, or like that sounds like dirty and high schooly and immature. But point is, this place happened. The woman famously fell in love because her dad told her not to love that guy.
Like most ladies.
Yeah,
Like most ladies.
They were like, "Fuck you, dad," and like, "I like what I like." And they were into each other, and somehow either one of them or both of them died. Point is, they couldn't be together, and that like kind of dubbed that alleyway like as a place of where it can make or break your relationship.
Yep.
If you kiss on the right stepway where they would kiss, it would grant you like a dozen years of good luck or something.
Like 80 something.
Yeah,
like that.
something like that. Versus if you didn't, it would grant you many years of bad luck. So it's just a fun little like local lore like that was like based off of slavery and mining and local history
Exploitation.
between you know, that like the whites and the indigenous and like their relationships.
Beautiful, honestly.
Right? It's pretty. It's very
history.
beautiful. Yeah.
That's critical race theory, dude. That's CRG, dude.
Oh, god damn it, Tucker. All right, let's bring it back to you, Luis. Do you have any any thoughts
looking,
about El Callejón del Beso, amigo?
I'm actually looking at it now, and it definitely is on the third step for a lifetime of luck in love. If a kiss grants you a lifetime of luck, what does a blowjob on the third step get you? Am I right, folks?
Ooh, that gets you fucking superpowers.
You become Homelander from The Boys.
Thanos, bro.
Yeah.
That gets you superpowers if that shit is true.
You end up traveling through time and meeting Anna herself.
Dude. Oh, dude, there's gonna be like a space-time continuum or a rip in space and time, right in the center of your dick hole, and that's where like the wormhole is gonna like appear from.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna go back in time, and then your mother's gonna want to sleep with you, like in Back to the Future.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Like in that famous movie, Back to the Future.
Man, we're over here having fun. You're talking about incest.
Yeah, you fucking weirdo.
fuck?
God, we can never trust you, Luis.
Famously, there are different kinds of retreats that the Western culture is traveling to Mexico for. One of them being an ayahuasca retreat, and the other one being a darkness retreat, where people are cementing themselves inside of a dark room and spending about 7 days in complete darkness, much to what Aaron Rodgers did before making his decisions to leaving the Green Bay Packers and joining the New York Jets. Are either of these retreats in your interest or in your near future?
Dude, I want to do the ayahuasca one.
In GTO?
Wherever, or I've seen that in Tulum. That's where I've seen that, in the Yucatan Peninsula, because it's a lot more. There's like half the people there speak Mayan.
Oh wow!
Like yeah, like it's a heart of like what's left of the Mayan civilization.
The people from El Dorado, like the cartoon, like. That civilization?
I guess so, yeah.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah. And the last time I was there, I walked past a ad that had Joe Rogan's face plastered all over it, and that would say the God molecule. Come stay with the shaman and take the God molecule. And then I looked up what it was, and it was Bufo alvarius. I still remember, which is the Latin name for this frog, where they like take the sweat off of it. And they like smoke that shit, and yeah,
I believe that is DMT.
That is DMT.
I believe that's DMT. Yeah.
Yeah, and like they have Joe Rogan's face plastered everywhere, so I want to go do that shit.
Marketing sells.
Mm-hmm. What about the darkness retreat? Because this one actually does pique my interest as a crazy self-indulgent self-health fitness guru like myself,
Mm-hmm.
would you be interested at all in doing it?
Oh, personally, me, 100%. Like Luis is saying, I want a good reset of my body. Really get to know yourself, right? Because like,
Yeah,
who knows? You might come out a completely different person. You might leave there with different pronouns. That might be
I
cool.
know. They talk about, doing this
Why,
dopamine
why
detox.
do you always hint at that? Just say it. Say what you gotta say.
Say what?
Whatever you're thinking about with your pronouns.
I'm saying the dark retreat can bring out the best of you.
And you were
Yeah,
talking
man.
about you might come out with different pronouns.
You don't know, man. I've never been alone in a cave for 7 days.
Dude, 7 days in complete darkness. Could you imagine?
No
Like
phone, no nothing.
that for sure changes your fucking perspective at least a little bit for
Mhm.
at least 24 hours, and then you're back to scrolling
To being a
TikTok
piece
for
of shit.
hours. Yeah, being a fucking disgusting pig.
But you're more
But
insightful this time, though.
yeah,
More
you're at least like,
self-aware. You're like, oh,
I should do this less. But
I'm
then you
pigging
don't.
out right now.
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to go ahead and disagree, boys. I think
You don't think the 7-day darkness retreat?
specifically, I don't think for me or you, Phil, maybe Luis, but for our ADHD brains, I think we would come out with like the sort of PTSD that like prisoners come out with,
That Molly gives you.
like more like a bad trip gives you, rather
Right.
than like a positive outcome.
I
I feel
would-
like by the third day we would be like, turn on the fucking lights. I want to get the fuck out of here. Like, I'll pay you 3 times. Let me the fuck out of here.
No, honestly, I think that it'd be if Luis and I did it, our outcomes would be very different. He would be very proactive and like go One Piece on this, right? Or
You
One
know what?
Punch
I
Man.
feel like Luis would come out with PTSD as well.
I would, yeah, I'm picturing what Juan just said. And just be like, open the goddamn door. I'm at it. Oh, dude.
Dude, and obviously you have to do something like this naked. Like, clearly, for
That's what Jesus did.
just so it feels as primal as possible.
We just barricade ourselves with a giant rock. Come back 7 days later.
Some naked and afraid type shit. But in the dark.
Oh, my
In the
God.
dark.
Yeah.
Dude, the best is because they lock you in there and they don't come back for 7 days. You would just be pounding on the door for no one to hear you. Dude, and then the monsters in your head just get louder and louder. And you're like, God, please stop. I've had enough.
Please have mercy, God. You were an atheist when you went in there.
Come out just a God-fearing man.
You're
Terrified
writing
of
the
your
best
own.
novel ever.
Like, I should have just done the ayahuasca. That would have been way less scary.
Wait, can I do ayahuasca in the dark cave?
Yeah, if you want
That
to,
would be-
man.
oh
Yeah.
my
No, this
God.
changes everything.
Whatever you want
That
to
would-
do.
I
Yeah.
could probably do. I could probably do that.
Can I ask you guys something?
What's up?
Please,
Out of
please.
like some of the descriptions that I've talked about my trip, is there any like aspect of those things that I've talked about, like whether that be nightlife, art, restaurants, museum type shit that you guys like would be interested in, like someday looking at yourselves?
I think the Mummy Museum is kind of cool, but like at the same time, it's like, you know how the Wisconsin Dells has like the museum of like classified like crazy things.
Oh, the
and all that
Ripley's
stuff.
museum, the Ripley's thing.
Yeah, the Ripley's one, and there's the one with the T-Rex outside.
Yeah.
It's like, I forget what it's called.
Okay.
But
Let,
I think the Mummy one would be cool, but overrated at the same time.
I'll give you a quick breakdown of that.
Ooh.
The Ripley's thing, one. All right, don't disrespect it that much. All right, like it's like
That's a pride and joy.
it's like
Wisconsin.
a UNESCO like world protected heritage site. Like it's like
Mhm.
naturally occurring mummies and nobody made, like nobody like manipulated in any human way, just like the mineral makeup of the land mummified a bunch of people somehow. So
Mhm.
like that's like pretty unique, but it's very overrated and you get over it in like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
And it's like
that's why I heard.
it's like, yeah, I get it. Like, yeah, mummies are cool. Like, I get it. Yeah, another mummy, another different size.
Mhm.
But so like you go one time and you're over it. So you're kind of right. It's just not as bad as Ripley's, believe it or not.
Honestly, I think the most entertainment you're gonna find is like what you said. out in the streets. None of these bars, none of these restaurants. You want to be out there with the rats, the scum of the scum, the people that know the streets.
All right, Luis, how about yourself?
You ever seen Aladdin? Like
I
that?
shouldn't. I should have known this guy wouldn't have taken it seriously.
I take it seriously.
I
I'm
agree.
serious. What?
That was disrespectful to
To who?
Juan and my people of the beautiful state of Guanajuato.
Your people, you and Juan are inside the restaurants eating food. I'm out there with the real people of Guanajuato. I'm out there like playing chess, playing jacks, playing marble. You guys are eating.
You're
your
out there with
foie gras.
You're out there with the housing challenge, trying to score your next dope.
The real people of GTO.
How dare you throw
Mi
that slander?
paisanos.
No, to answer your question, I think it would definitely be just traveling around and kind of, making my own path and not necessarily going to any one or two destinations. Like, I probably talked about it enough, but it's been a year since I went to Greece, and that made me realize just how small you are in such a big world. So I think it would just be going there in general and having some time away from my phone and my screens. And if there was one site that I would have to name, it would probably be where my grandparents live, because I have a lot of fond memories and core memories from when I was a kid that, is in the state of Guanajuato. So it'd probably be to that. Not a touristic attraction per se, but you talk about how you spend so much time with your family, Juan, and it definitely makes me want to go out there and like see where they came from and relive those memories that I
I
had
don't
as
know
a
if you
kid.
guys have grandparents, guys, but if you do, they have expiration dates, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, that was kind of sad to see. And if you have one, like, take
Yeah, they get
advantage
old
of
as
it.
fuck.
Take advantage of it ASAP.
Yeah, man, that's a good point. Yeah, you don't realize, but like you look at them and like, I mean, no disrespect to my grandparents, but as I was talking to them, I could see them just so checked out. Just could not give, like, my grandpa on both sides of my parents, like the grandpa does not care what the fuck I do.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm talking to him and like as if you're talking to me right now, he'd be like,
See, mijo, see.
like just could not, like I might as well be speaking fucking Chinese to him. Like he just does. They're
Yeah,
just so checked
once they
out.
get a certain age, they're checked out all day.
Yeah, they're just like,
Well, maybe you
The-
two, but like my grandma was very hot. She was a hot piece of ass back then. So she had my mom pretty young.
There we go. That's one way to start,
And,
baby. Keep
and
going
then
about
my-
hot grandma.
And then my mom had me pretty young.
Wait, describe her for us. Like, what's her body shape?
Dude, it's not her body shape, it's her cooking. It could rise any penis up from the
A real Martha Stewart type.
and she needs it now.
Mm.
My grandpa died this year, 2023. So like she's, I forgot it's grandma's day. Didn't get a gift for her.
You're a piece of shit.
Hey, that could be you. You can come pleasure. Would Alondra give you the pass
No.
to pleasure my grandma?
No.
I mean, I was your
Don't-
best man. This is
don't
like
be rude.
a reciprocate.
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude.
Don't be disrespectful.
Don't be disrespectful.
Don't be
This is
disrespectful. That's
one
rude.
good deed. This is your good deed to go to heaven.
No. Shut the fuck up.
You can bring pleasure to my grandma one more time.
dude, Juan would break your grandma.
No way, dude. My grandma's fucking fit and sturdy as hell.
Juan and I have had sleepovers, and let me tell you, man, he would break your grandmother.
Dude, my grandma, no joke. Her ass is up at 5 a.m. She makes tamales for like the village. She goes around
For the
she's a-
village, I love it.
No, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like she goes around, she makes a little scratch in the money, selling tamales.
Dude, I love that.
Her competitor is the bolillo guy in the morning. She's like that motherfucker.
She's
like,
got to beat him to it.
Yeah, literally though.
He's like, I want to be people's primary source of carbs.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
that is so funny. Anything else you want to talk about Mexico before we kind of just talk about our week and anything else?
Yeah, me and Philip over here were trying some stuff I brought back. What have your thoughts been on the last two things we've been drinking, Phil?
Wow, you should have started me off with these because I could not put this down. This is so sweet, so good. If you guys like Nesquik or any kind of like chocolate shake, boozy kind of like creamy things, this is up your alley. More of like a rum chata, but more of a sweeter, more authentic rum chata. That's a good way to say it. That mezcal in it really adds another layer that takes it home.
You can taste the mezcal, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what the last two things that Mia and Phil were tasting were like mezcal cream liqueurs. The first one was a cappuccino flavored one where it was like coffee, cream, coffee and creamy base. You know, just very delicious, very enjoyable, very like a little bit more on the sweet, low ABV side. And then the last one, this like pink Pepto Bismol looking motherfucker, is pine nut flavored mezcal cream liqueur.
What is it?
Pine nut.
Pine nut?
Yeah.
I thought this could be fucking strawberry Nesquik. It's so
right?
good, dude.
It's so good. Yeah, this is pine nut flavored mezcal cream liqueur. And this kind of segues into like one of the things that I wanted to bring up about the trip. On this last trip to Guanajuato, like I've told a lot of people that I want to get my own property in the city proper.
In GTO?
In GTO. I would love like a vacation home, or like if you owned a building where like you own the bottom side, that's also a commercial front, and then you have the apartment on top. So that would be pretty dope. But like I would totally love that. Like on the last trip there, I noticed like how many mixology type places have opened up in the last year, and like the 3 bars that we went to were all like 10 months was the oldest one, and they had like a perfect
10 months was the oldest establishment there?
10 months.
What the fuck? Why?
Because like mixology was just arriving there, but like everybody's menu was like super like clean and high level, like not like gimmicky with like sparkly shit or anything like that.
You telling me that when you went there a year ago, they didn't have any mixology drinks?
Not that much, no. Me and Ala were looking for it, and like it was more nightclubby type environment, like with a lot more binge drinking, with like quantity over quality. Like you could get like a liter of like tequila and squirt like for like 150 pesos.
Was it still the same or similar to?
No, because then like that was like to go out and like dance your ass off, versus like this last time we went, we were like focusing on a lot more mixology type places, and like places with cocktails and like shit like that. Like to give you an example of one of the ones we tried that was like really impressive, was we tried a whiskey sour, or Alo did, that had avocado and green tea in it.
Wow. Yeah. Avocado?
Yeah, exactly. And it was like super creamy and delicious. It was so fucking good.
Jesus Christ.
We tried a mole old fashioned that was made with ancho chilies and banana in it as well. So it had a banana liqueur. It had ancho chili bitters.
You said a mole old fashioned?
Yeah.
Like that, like sauce base, like.
Yeah.
Wow. That's. Yeah, I don't even know if that sounds appetizing. How was it? Was it like
mole is think about it. Mole is like prominent notes are chocolate, cinnamon, peanuts,
smokiness,
smoky peppers,
spicy.
Like that sounds delicious in a whiskey based drink. You know, like
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so like there was just like a bunch of like things like that, that was just super exciting, and yeah, this is like. Just like our little homage to that trip, you know, like we visited a super fun bar called Mezcalito.
Mezcalito?
Yeah, where
I like the name.
Their whole gimmick, I swear to God, bro, it was the size of this like half this basement, and their whole gimmick was that they have different flavored mezcales, just like the one we're drinking on right now, and then you can pay for like I don't know 6-10 shots of like the different flavors and try as many as you want. And yeah, that's just kind of the thing. She's like, here, come try all of our flavored awesome mezcales. They're typically like creamy and like desserty.
I love it. It's like
they're like really easy to sip on.
It's what we do with Frojo, but they're doing it with mezcal flavored drinks.
Kinda, yeah.
Get a shot glass. Come down here. We'll weigh it out. Whatever it weighs, you pay that.
Yeah, kinda. And like I remember we showed up on like a Tuesday night, bought 2 shots, and there was a 3-for-1 special. Yeah, so it was like, fuck, dude. Like, we weren't even trying to get, like, that much, but it forces you into it.
That's got to be so cool to be able to get, like, literally drunk for half the price and feel safe because you know that you're not going to fuck up. Because if you fuck up, your ass is done. And anybody fucks with you, you go tell. You be like, Senor. They'll probably take $50 from you for, like, inconvenience them. But you're still safe. You could be like, yo, woo. It's going down. I'm yelling timber.
Are you talking about the narco shit?
I mean, yeah, the enforcers.
That doesn't apply there.
In the city.
In the city, it doesn't apply. Remember, I just talked about how like they're not in there.
They got to be in the shadows. There's no way
They
the
might
narcos
be
are
like they might be
they're
like
not
on
in
the
there,
rough
you know?
edges, but like I asked like tour guides, I asked taxi drivers,
Oh, yeah.
I asked everybody that who's like I had like more than 2 minutes in front of, and they were like, yeah, like it's pretty fucking like clear of that shit. There's pickpockets, but like that's like everywhere. There's pickpockets anywhere. There's a crowd.
There's not I mean, not in Beloit, but yeah, I guess everywhere, yeah. You're
Well,
right,
because
yeah.
there's not like a walking crowd in Beloit.
No. There should be more people walking.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun, boys. But yeah, other than that, had a great time. I totally want to get a property down there. It's just a little bit tough because it's very well guarded properties down there. Like the government makes you be a citizen of Mexico to own one of those. You can't be like a foreigner and buy, or like maybe I'm wrong. This is what a fucking taxi driver told me. Maybe I'm wrong.
Who's got the education of a second grader?
This guy.
That's
God.
pretty racist, dude. What the
Look
fuck?
at this guy, man.
Come on, man.
God, you're such an elitist Hillary Clinton.
This is why I didn't want to talk about this. Dude,
God,
look
look
at
at this
so
guy.
tempted to
Oh,
make these jokes, dude.
God.
Very disrespectful.
Your dad and your grandfather looking down on you.
Just
They're
because-
both still alive.
Yeah, but they're still looking down on you for that
What
comment.
the fuck, dude?
They felt that. Their knee pain showed up and like reminded them of what a piece of shit you are.
But to keep on the piece of shit talk that we're talking about right now, would you be afraid that if you like raised your family down there, that they'd be like engrossed?
They would also only have a second grade education.
Hell
something
no,
to that
dude.
nature.
I feel like it'd be way easier to go to college down there.
Yeah, that would be true.
Yeah,
true.
it'd be way easier to go to college down there. It's cheaper and more affordable.
I don't.
And, like people can like still pay for it with like a daily job.
I don't want to bring up your family's dirty business, but didn't you have a cousin or like a nephew or something like that was like a pro skater? And
Oh yeah, like my like junior Tony Hawk cousin.
Yeah. What if your son becomes that? He was like, "Daddy, no, this is a Fitbit or what is that called? A fidget spinner? This is a fidget spinner, Daddy. Look." Like, no, son, you don't know what this is. This is a waste of time. But he's like the best like fidget spinner guy in like Juan-ajuato.
Well,
Are
then
you gonna let him
clearly
pursue
I'm
his
fucking
dream?
wrong, aren't I, Phil?
Well, I mean, isn't
I would
this what's
have to
gonna
learn
happen
to-
to your son with your cousin, whatever his name is?
You know what, Phil? That's not what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen
Okay.
if we were to go down there and like stay down there and have kids and that sort of shit? One, I would feel like at some point we would come over here so that they could like have
A better future.
prominence in both languages, like exposure to both different cultures,
Mhm.
and then they can just decide for themselves at some point in their life and being like, which part of life do I want to like participate in, this side or that side.
GTO
whatever.
is so beautiful, but America's got McDonald's.
Fair, yes, that is, and we have malls and suburbs, and they're so cool.
And Burger King.
Yeah, like, dude, it's awesome.
Oh yeah.
But like, what would happen is like, I would have kids down there, and they would be like the most fresa Ed Maverick motherfuckers you've ever seen in your life, bro. Like, that's what would happen. Am I wrong, Luis?
Deep in their
Like,
No, you're not
we
wrong.
would have like some like hipster.
And they're
ass-
second generation too, so
yeah,
that make
we'd
them
have some
like
hipster
extra
ass
targets.
kids who like live in like a private colonia, who like probably know the security guards, and like they probably go to La Universidad de Guanajuato, which is like that like Notre Dame like university in the center of the city.
they're part of the soccer team. Like they
They
it
would
would
probably
be a whole
like
thing.
be kind of like thriving birds down there, like with
Yeah.
like going to like a different fucking palapa. Guys, I gotta bring
What's
this
a
up.
palapa?
I gotta bring this up here. Have you guys ever heard of that word, palapa? Is that a word you're familiar with?
Never heard it once in my life.
Okay, so a palapa is this incredible like open like salon type theme where it's
Okay.
like you have like this Adobe style like just how do I explain it, like open air meeting space where a lot of the times it'll be centered with like some sort of shade that's like usually permanent, that's got that like Adobe style like
Like an awning?
architecture. Yeah, like awnings.
Oh,
Like, and then they also have like stages. They usually have like a little like dancing area. They usually have like citrus trees growing in the middle of them, just so it feels a little like natural and shit. And then there's like always space for like either people to like cater. It's essentially like an open air just a meeting space, like a party.
it looks like
space.
a gazebo made by the beach. That's what it looks like.
So it's just like a lot
Nice.
of it's just like it's just a gazebo, right? And most of their parties are held like that, and it's just so enjoyable, guys. I cannot tell you how enjoyable it is to like be outside partying like that. Like it's just I just can't like overstate it. Like it kind of sucks during the middle of the day when like the sun is beating down, but like at night everybody just loosens up. Like it's got that like cool like late night air in the air at that time, and everybody's just dancing hard as fuck.
How many days were you out there? 7, 8?
8.
In those 8 days, did you see any like educational parties happening at the gazebo, or was this just a bunch of like, you know, Victorias?
What the fuck is an educational party?
Yeah, what the fuck are you
something
talking
to
about?
better the environment or something like that, or you know what, folks, let's pick up the trash today, or like how it just sounds like a party festival.
Well, I did go
Sounds
to
like Mardi Gras.
baptize somebody.
Sounds like Mardi Gras.
So I did go to baptize somebody, so that would make sense.
Does the whole town celebrating the baptism?
No, it was. I don't know why you would pick up on that. Like I am describing the baptism right now.
Oh, I thought you were just talking about the streets of
No,
GTO.
no, that was not the streets. No, that was a
Okay.
baptism. And I like open air parties, badass.
And
we need to improve our outside partying game, guys.
You're the Godfather.
I agree.
Right?
Yes, I was the Godfather.
That did you make your godson fight in a boxing thing?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
Because I saw that, I was like, damn, that poor child's gonna get fucked up.
my cousin from over there, who's like 18, has some boxing gloves and was giving them to a cousin who was like 8 and another one who was like 7.
I was gonna say they did
And
not look 18.
No, 8.
Those
and
were
7.
kids.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they were both wearing, and like they can't even like punch hard enough to like do anything.
I think you were screaming, "Hit him in his face! Hit him in his face!"
That is exactly what I was saying. Yeah, they need to learn a jab, bro.
Oh yeah.
If we don't teach them, who will?
Well, I mean, they will learn from these parties.
This is why you came out fucked up. Nobody taught you a jab.
That's true. That's true. Nobody taught me.
Dude, if you knew a jab, you would have fucking cleaned up in middle school.
Dude, I would have
You would
zagged when I
have
would have
cleaned
zigged.
up, Phil.
I zagged when I
You
should have
would've
jigged.
Pop, knockout, bitch. Pop, one more.
I went the self-righteous route.
But instead, you didn't have a big brother to look out for you.
No.
That's why Luis is here today.
Oh yeah. Luis and the
Yeah,
Holy
dude.
Spirit.
I used to do. We used to box each other. Not us personally, but like my group of friends. We would. You know what we would do? We would, and I'll see if I can find a video of this. We would go to Walmart in the middle of the day and put on the boxing gloves that they were selling, and then fight right there in the aisles of Walmart for like two minutes at a time.
That's great, Luis.
How did you feel about the music down there? What were they listening to? Some corridos tumbados, some Natael Cano, or
Bro, you already know,
some,
dog. You
some
already
Peso
know
Pluma.
that,
Bunny?
bro. You already know nothing but Peso Pluma all day, every day.
Peso Pluma.
Dude, nothing but.
¿Qué le parece esa morra?
La que anda bailando sola.
You see that guy that says
Bella.
Yeah, he says
Yes.
Bella. I mean,
I cannot
That's my
overstate how
fucking
much
guy,
fun it
bro.
was, Luis.
That's my guy, bro.
I cannot overstate how much fun it is when everybody just knows like the bops and I was telling this guy like on the group chat, one of my like I don't know why, right? I don't know why, but like I came back from over there just fucking enjoying that genre of music way more than ever before.
no,
I
great.
Cause,
Bro,
like,
it's fun.
no, literally, like I used to like look down on it. I used to not like it. I used to think it sounded like polka music.
Same.
Like, I used to think it sounded like polka music. And then like you involve yourself in like, or you dip your toe in the culture a little bit, and then you're like, you know what? I get it now. Like
I am bélico.
I don't know what it is about it, but like that like raw like energy about it, like I can hear it now. It like channels like correctly now. It's not.
Let me know if this is also how you feel about it. But like my fiance pointed out, like part of the reason why I enjoy it now more than I did maybe like 5 years ago is like, and actually one of the producers of someone Natael music said this, is that they're not dressed like fucking
I
20
agree.
dudes in like cowboy hats.
I
Like
actually was thinking the exact same thing.
like they
A few
look
weeks
cool as
ago.
fuck, dude.
Yeah,
Like not they got face tattoos. They're wearing like
dude,
modern
it's because
shit.
they're embracing the gangster rap appeal of it. They are embracing that side of it, and they're just like, yo, we are basically gangster rappers. Like, let's just fucking like lean into that side of it. Like, we like
That is true.
Gucci, we like Cartier. We're gonna rap about like getting our ladies fake tits, fake asses, and like Gucci, Cartier bags, and like shit
But
like
we're gonna
that.
do it with trumpet in the background.
Yeah, exactly. With a trumpet, a fucking trombone, a tuba, and an accordion, motherfuckers.
Dude, the music videos are wild too. I feel like that's also why I love it. They're just like having a fucking party, and it like there happens to be a camera there.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like it feels like music videos from like 15 years ago, bro.
Yes.
Like
That
it
were
feels
like,
like
no,
music
invite
videos from like a
everybody.
different era, but with like 4K cameras.
I
Where, like,
guarantee
everything
you
gets
with
captured like almost too good, almost too
I,
good. It's like, you
I
know what? I don't
guarantee
need this
you
much definition.
within the next 12 to 18 months, we're going to see one of their videos, meaning like Junior H or Fuerza Regida or Grupo Frontera. They're going to have a music video directed by Cole Bennett, who famously does a lot of the Lyrical Lemonade videos, who did just recently the Jack Black Peaches video. Like, he's kind of like the hottest director
Dude,
right
I bet
now.
he's gonna do the a peso pluma thing.
For sure.
I
For
bet.
sure. He like because they're just so big now. Like you got videos of Drake listening to them, like Bad Bunny's listening to them, and like famously squashing beef. So it's like it's probably the most up and coming genre of music right now, and probably because there's so many second and first generation
Hmm.
Latin X in the country. You know,
I personally don't like it.
I
Because
get. I
it,
mean, I would have agreed with you, bud, but like
up until that last point.
up until like I started like listening to this music a lot more, and a lot of the comments, bro, in like how telling is this, right? How like this is anecdotal, like 100%. But a lot of the commentary in these videos, like when you go to listen to this music on YouTube or anything, it talks about like they're Colombians or Venezuelans. Like, dude, like this is like bigger than like American like firstborn or secondborn. Like it's probably like a combined force. You know what I mean?
Peso
Yeah.
Pluma.
Yeah. But yeah, that motherfucker has like fans all over the globe. You know, like he could probably
Yeah.
just do a Latin America tour and probably be pretty good for a while.
It's pretty
He
crazy because aesthetically, he's like a Machine Gun Kelly, kind of like thin,
Thin,
tattooey,
wiry.
wiry,
Yeah.
Yankee, and like
Terrible haircut.
That whole theme of music genre.
Terrible haircut.
But I love his haircut, bro. I fucking love it. It's so terrible on purpose that I love it.
It kind
It
of
becomes
reminds me
good.
of like high school, middle school dances. Like when you ask them to formal and all this stuff, and all
Yeah.
they're doing is playing, like you said, gangster rap. It's like the equivalent of like Lil Wayne Lollipop. It's like Peso Puma, like Baya.
Yeah, his
like
voice
very
is very
grinding.
distinctive. Like
Yeah,
it's
he's-
very
You're right. He's like T-Pain in 2008.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. T-Pain, that was a legendary era.
I was over there with Green Day. I was like, "Wake me up."
Yeah,
when
you're all
September
alone with the
ends."
fucking loners that like were like socially awkward and couldn't like stand being around each other,
Mhm.
and most of the time boycotted like social events.
Literally, you two,
Yeah.
you two
we
guys are in
know.
there grinding. I'm out there saying like, "Dude, this music's fucking fake, bro." Look, you know what's real music? That guy screaming on the alleyway.
Yeah, this. You know what's real music? This emo music from like 3-4 generations ago that I can't get over.
Juan, I got to
Exactly.
give you your flowers. I'm going through some of the comments under PRC, the Peso Pluma Natael Cano song. And dude, España, estoy con vosotros. Soy de Chile, me
Te
encanta la
digo, güey.
música.
It's
I live in
international.
America and I love this music. Desde Argentina, esforzándome para colaborar con los grandes artistas. Viva México, hijos de su chingada madre y arriba las Chivas. That one is probably unrelated. Probably didn't have to say that one. But
I see, bro.
yeah.
I was telling you, dude. Like,
Oh.
pueblo o polvo ruedas y también cristal, güey. Like, I'm telling you.
Me levanto baño y luego me pongo a formar.
All over the world, they're like enjoying that like genre of like
Hey,
just
Por las
that
Noches
energy.
with Becky G. Por las Noches. That's a
Ooh,
banger.
Not Becky
That's
G.
Chanel, güey. Chanel is the Becky G one, but Por las Noches,
Yeah.
both of those songs are badass.
They're both bangers.
But
The
okay,
remix.
Both bangers.
Phill, I can't even
All
be
right.
that mad at you, but like I'm kind of curious. Like, what is like the reasons that you're allergic to that genre or most of those style of songs?
It's just,
Let's end the podcast on this
Yes.
and then our
So-
song recommendation for the week.
Fair.
oh, well, I mean, like you were saying, like I'm more of the Ed Maverick school. I'm more of the Vincent Fernandez field of like Mexican music, and by that, that's the equivalent of like fucking Vampire Weekend, I guess.
Nah, like
Right?
it's
I
more
mean-
like Arctic Monkeys and like
Yeah.
and like what's his name, the other lyricist,
Bon Jovi,
the lyricist motherfucker I said that couldn't sing,
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
Vincent, you comparing Vincent Fernandez
A little
to Bob
bit,
Dylan?
like probably.
Dude, Vincent Fernandez had a run before Peso Pluma could crawl. Are you kidding me?
That's supposed to be a good compliment. He won a Pulitzer Prize.
Vincent Fernandez?
No, Bob Dylan.
Oh, Bob Dylan. Clearly, you don't listen to the show because Bob Dylan raped a 12-year-old girl.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, you
So-
always remind me of that.
So Vincent Fernandez is a great guy. And so to finish off with the Peso Pluma, it's
Yeah,
what
what
it
is
is.
it?
If I had a girlfriend, I'd be like, dude, this guy says shit, dude. You just play it, and whatever argument I had, it's gone. I just gotta try to move my hips to the beat of the music, and then it's bam. Me, I'm a single guy. I don't gotta move my hips anymore. I'm just there. I'm drinking. I'm like, this music's overrated. Bring me up, Vincent Fernandez.
You're like, bring me some shit that I can like be draking to.
Yeah,
That's what you want.
yeah. That's the bottom
You
line.
like the self-loathing, the self-pity.
The Johnny Cashes, the Luis Miguel.
Fair.
Ahora te puedes amachar. That means now it's time to get the fuck out. That means it's
Fair.
time to march on, bitch.
Luis
I'm drinking.
Miguel is legendary. You can't
Oh,
hate
yeah.
on that.
And that's my school. Maybe, if any of the viewers and listeners at home could probably change that.
You know what? I sympathize with you, Phill. Before, like I started getting into
Mm-hmm.
and this is like the only year I got into this. And like before 2 years ago, I used to not be in a Bad Bunny, but like I've just been slowly like expanding my tastes, like a few artists at a time, and like it's fun. It's fun. Sometimes you just like open your taste a little bit, and like you just like you're able to get with the culture of the place a lot better, bro. Like I would feel like I was missing out if I went to those bars and I didn't like know like at least a little bit of like ella baila sola. Can you imagine if I was
Ella baila sola.
if I was like over there at a bar and like they play that and like the whole bar singing and I'm just like looking around like yeah, this is pretty cool, right? They just bobbing my head. Like, yeah, that's cool, but also, like, if you know that shit, like, you're just participating in it, like, you're having that much more fun. And, like, sometimes, like, because we are who we are and, like, we have access to those cultures, like, I don't know, I feel like you're kind of missing out a little bit. Like, on like, a window or, like, a piece of, like, really fun part of our life that, like,
It's true.
is just there, that you have access to, that you could access if you wanted to.
I'm glad you brought that up, Juan, because just like me, I don't want the viewers at home, the listeners at their work, listening on their car, commuting to their jobs, that I don't want them to miss out on 13 TMI's new album that just came out on May 13th. Go on and check it out. Those are my top 3 Mexican artists. Is Bad Bunny, Vincent Fernandez, and 13 TMI. Peso Pluma.
I think Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican, bro.
Yeah, I know. He's Latino. We're all Mexican. Come on. Let's knock it off. If you're proud of your nations, knock it off. We're all American. Right, Luis?
Just proves the point, huh, Luis?
Yeah, it really wrapped it up in a nice bow and delivered it to the listeners' ears. Thank you so much for watching another episode of the VYV podcast, where we break down food, wine, news, and agave drama. This has been Luis Pablo, Juan Legend, and Phill of Golden Corral with episode 87. We'll see you all
Next week.
next week.